Wir sind jetzt im Kurzfilmblog und ich freue mich auf das Q&A mit dem Regisseur von Tala'vision, Murat Abu Aishan. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you for coming. So where did the idea come from for your movie?
It was two parts actually. Once, like in 2014, I read a small article in the newspaper about the banning of televisions in ISIS-controlled regions, and it really stuck by me because as a child I really grew up with stuck to the television set actually. I was watching movies all the time and it was my window to the outside world, and I just couldn't stop imagining how would children grow up with no window to the outside world. And at the same time, like a year later, I was working on the Syrian-Jordanian border, and I came across a little girl crossing the border on her own. She was an orphan, and her face stuck with me for a long time. And I just kept asking myself what could be her story. And then these two ideas came together and generated the Drehbuch of Tala'vision.
And did you talk to the girl? Is it her story, or did you just make it up?
I made it up actually. I just saw her. We spoke for a little bit, but I mean it was a traumatic situation for her.
Yes.
So yeah, but yeah, it was completely imagined, the story.
So where did you begin? You wrote a screenplay, and then you were looking for a place to shoot.
I started the screenplay when I was accepted at the Film Academy, actually. And it took several years. I was developing the script slowly. And then, yeah, we just decided that we want to shoot this film, and we went on a first scouting trip. We shot the film in Jordan, just right outside the capital, Amman, in a Palestinian refugee camp from the 40s. Yeah, and it all started there.
So did you organize everything here and then went to Jordan, or just went there and organized the rest of the movie there?
No, we organized it here in Germany. We went back and forth several times with the production team and the camera. We did a lot of scoutings. Casting process was really long, and I had to come back and forth to Jordan 3 times until we found the right cast for the film. So it took a while.
Yeah, and how did you find the little girl?
That was a really long process as well.
I think so. Can you tell a bit about it?
We had a casting director, and they filtered through, I'm not sure how many hundreds of girls, and I met with around 200 girls in the final list.
Yes.
And from the 200 we found our Aisha, her name is, and...
But how did they find the girls? Were they on a profile on the internet?
No, not at all.
Did the director just go there and just ask little girls on the street, hey, do you want to be part of a movie?
Somehow, yes. I mean, there are no child actors there.
Yes.
Acting in general, it's not very popular. And I knew from the beginning, I want a girl that, we will never find a child actor. We need to find a real girl with somehow a real experience of this entire situation. So we're actually casting in Syrian camps, or trying to find someone with authentic accent as well. Yeah, it took months looking, but at the end, they asked everywhere, in schools, in streets, in camps. At the end, we found her in a summer club. We talked to a summer club in the capital, and it was for refugee children.
And she is still living in the camp, or is she?
No, they moved out. They moved to Egypt actually now. So
okay.
Yeah, different life now.
But I imagine it to be quite difficult to just go into a camp and looking for a girl who is maybe it's not an easy situation. No. So how did you approach the girls there? You just went there.
I didn't have to approach it because there was the team that was actually talking to the parents and getting them in. My job was to enter a room, and they were bringing in the girls one by one, and the moment Aisha walked in, I kind of knew that she's our actress. She behaved completely different than the rest of the girls. She had like this shyness, but at the same time, like some confidence in her. And she behaved and talked differently. And I remember when she went out, the casting directress was sitting next to me, and I was like, I think we found her. So it was like from the first moment, feeling.
Perfect. And how was working with her? Did she enjoy acting? Is it something she want to pursue in future?
I think so. She really enjoyed it. It was, I mean, the entire experience was for her really eye-opening, because she comes from a completely different background. As well for her to interact with our crew, and I think for her it was like the first time seeing women working, like confident women giving orders and working and being like their full selves. And I think for her, she was able to connect with a lot of our crew member, like especially the women. So I think it influenced her really like on a like psychological level to deal with people from different backgrounds. But I mean, working with her on set was quite challenging as well. I mean, at the end of the day, she's a child. She was 7 years old when we shot with her. And yeah, I had to, for months before I had to sit with her, become her friend, and build this trust between us, and explain to her what a story is, actually, like how a film, what is a film? It was like really on a basic level of work. We couldn't go through the script, it was too complicated. So it was all on set work, but she had a lot of fun as well. So.
Where did you find your locations?
It was just right outside the capital, Amman, in Jordan, and it's like a small refugee Flüchtlingscamp from the 40s. Are there
still people living there?
Yeah. I mean, it's not with tents or anything. It's now built because it's been like 70 years people living there. And yeah, it looks very beautiful, mesmerizing. It's all like small alleys. It has like certain beauty to it. And at the same time, like, production wanted to shoot as close as possible to the capital, so like it's easier, but the capital is very hügelig, which is like not very typical in Syria. So we were trying to find flat neighborhoods. So we found this place and people were very welcoming, so we went for it.
So the reaction in the camp, like the reaction of the people, were quite good, or?
Yeah, I mean, they had films shot there before.
Ah, okay.
And I think the special thing about shooting in Jordan is a lot of foreign productions go there to shoot because it's a safe country, and like we have a lot of crew that works in Hollywood productions, and so there were several Hollywood films there shot, so the people knew how this would work. And some of them only work in film sets, even, like the people there. So it's quite interesting to deal with locals that know what to do, actually, and how to deal with us. So that was like very nice to do.
You were welcome there.
Yes. Yeah.
Nice. So what was the biggest difficulty you had during the project?
I think the directing a child for me was like the biggest obstacle. It's like it was my first time directing a child as well. I was building
first and last, or
no, not last, because now we shot another film with 2 children in it.
Okay.
We're editing it, so I was thinking for myself, maybe I should like call off working with children anymore, because yeah, it's really exhausting. It takes a lot of energy, and yeah, just I mean, a 7-year-old is like almost a baby, you know, like really like fresh, and we had to be aware of her personal trauma, and I had to talk to child psychiatrists and really like be careful with what we're doing with her, because we didn't want to damage her as well as a child. And we knew from the beginning that probably her personality is going to change throughout this experience. And we sat with the dad and we talked about this. And one day after the shooting ended, the dad called me and he was like, she's a different person. And I was like really astounded that...
In a good way.
Yeah, she's more like confident and she has her own opinions. Great. And before she was like more quiet. And I think it's a really good thing for a child. But as well, she had a lot of attention from us for like almost a month.
Yes.
And we devised a strategy to make it like when we finished shooting, not to pack and leave. And I stayed there for a couple of weeks and like slowly, gradually made less attention. So the next days we spent with her as well. We had to take her back to the set, show her how it's dismantled, nothing is real. And I remember a situation, we were having lunch after shooting, and the sound guy, he's German, and she asked him, what's your name? And he said, yeah, I'm Johann, what's your name? And she said the name of the character. And I was like, okay. And then he was like, no, that's not your name. And she was like, really, for a minute, like not knowing what to answer. And she was like, no, it's my name. And I was like really getting like anxious. And I was like, shit, like what are we gonna do? And then like it took her a minute to remember her real name. And I was like, okay, we need to spend maybe more time with her, like to get her back to her normal life. So that was like realizing how tender a child's mind is.
Yes.
Was very.
And are you still in touch?
Yes, yeah. I mean, it was really great. The film like did a lot of shows, like a lot of festivals so far. We won the Student Academy, and it was like really a big deal for her and for her family. And now it's in the long list for the regular Academy Awards, the Oscars, as well. And like we're still really in touch. The entire family is like really overwhelmed with all of this. So, yeah.
Great. So, what are your future plans for this movie, or you're in the next project right now?
Yeah, I'm already in the next project. We already shot in Jordan as well, like this journey of two sisters in the desert. Now we're in post-production, and yeah, I'm working as well on my long film at the same time. Hopefully we'll shoot in 2023. So like some things in the making still.
Cool, so the best for you.
Thank you so much.
And we hopefully see you soon the next year in the festival.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Tala'vision gibt es noch bis Sonntag sowie alle weiteren Filme im Programm. Schaut ihn euch unbedingt an.